Thank you, and good morning, everyone. As Representative Helfrich said, my name is Phil Rubin. I have the privilege of representing Northwest Raleigh in the House of Representatives, District 40. And I'm going to change topics to teacher pay, but you're going to hear a continuation of two themes that my colleagues have talked about, and that is investing and that is thinking about long-term planning. So the bill I'm going to talk about is House Bill 1178, the Teacher Pay Competitiveness Act. This bill is about a simple choice. Are we going to keep writing blank checks to a voucher program that grows on autopilot, or should we invest in teachers, public school teachers, who educate 85% of the kids in our state? Invest is the right word, because it is the failure of the General Assembly to invest in our teachers that has caused a scandal that threatens the future of our families and our workforce in the state that we love. In short, today our priorities are upside down. North Carolina teachers are falling behind in pay. Our pay lags behind every single bordering state, meaning that if you are a public school teacher, you can drive across any border and make more money. Budget dysfunction, we have continually failed to pass budgets on time, including now almost a year behind on passing the budget, freezes teacher pay increases because they don't get a pay increase when no budget gives them one. But the interesting thing is this, the voucher money, the private school vouchers, that money grows automatically. It is codified into statute that it will grow year upon year upon year into the 2030s, where it'll reach over $800 million a year, even when we fail to pass a budget. So this bill, House Bill 1178, flips that script. It locks in teacher pay growth, starting with a 7% increase right now, and then automatic annual increases through 2033. It then ties it to real labor costs going forward, meaning that if the legislature does not pass a budget, teachers can count on pay increases and professional growth. It protects that funding stream with something called the Teacher Salary Reserve, which is modeled on the way that we reserve hundreds of millions of dollars for school vouchers today. And it rebalances the voucher policy. It returns it to being focused on only low and middle income families and reduces the endless long-term growth of voucher funding that has taken so much money from our public schools. When you think about it, it's about values. Values matter, and budgets are a reflection of those values. Republicans who control this body have continually sent a message to our public school students, 85% of our kids, and to our teachers that they come last. That's wrong, and our neighboring states know it. When I said earlier that we pay less than our neighboring states, I don't mean by a little bit. We are 13% under the average pay of our bordering states. Georgia, Republican-controlled Georgia, pays $11,000 a year on average, more than North Carolina. That is almost 20% more in one of our neighboring states. And we need to keep those teachers here and not in Georgia. And why are we falling behind in that way? And again, it is to fund these vouchers. These are the same vouchers that have actually driven up private school tuition. That is what the studies show, almost 15% in 1 year for schools that take them, far more than schools that don't, meaning that increasingly the money that our taxpayer money is going to pay for these vouchers is not really going to the students, it's going directly to the schools. These are the same vouchers that have stripped money out of our rural public schools, which are often the largest employer in those communities, even when those counties often have 0 or 1 school that even takes vouchers. So it is a transfer of wealth from our rural counties to private schools in Raleigh and Charlotte. I want to close with this. North Carolina's teacher pay crisis did not happen by accident. It is the direct result of political and policy choices by Republicans who control this building. But even when they built a system where voucher pay rises automatically and teacher pay is left vulnerable to gridlock, we can fix that with better choices. Instead of guaranteeing year-over-year funding growth for vouchers, we can and should guarantee funding for teachers. That is the kind of state we want to be. We should be a state that invests in teachers as the foundation of our future. This bill chooses teachers, it chooses stability, it chooses public education, and it chooses a North Carolina that intends not just to compete with its neighbors, but to lead.